Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Ali Ahmed. First, the headlines. Iraqi Parliament has passed resolution calling for foreign troops to leave the country in wake of Iranian general's assassination. Foreign Minister telephonically discussed latest situation of the Middle East with his Iranian, Turkish and UAE's counterparts today. Army spokesman says Pakistan would play the role of a peacemaker and not take sides in the ongoing conflict between United States and Iran. Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and world over observed Right to Self-Determination Day today to remind the United Nations of its commitment with them. Prime Minister in a tweet regretted Modi regime's full support for public lynching of Muslims and attacks on minorities in India. President and Prime Minister have urged United Nations to grant the just right of self-determination to Kashmiris under its resolutions. Pakistan released 20 Indian fishermen today as a goodwill gesture. And now the news in detail. Iraqi Parliament has passed a resolution calling for foreign troops to leave the country after the United States killed top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in a drone strike at Baghdad airport. The parliament also called for a ban on foreign forces using Iraqi land, airspace or water for any reason. The resolution said that the government commits to revoke its request for assistance from the international coalition fighting Islamic State due to the end of military operations in Iraq and the achievement of victory. The United States has some 5,000 military personnel in Iraq. The United States and Iraq continue to trade threats amid rising tensions over the killing of General Qasem Soleimani by United States in Iraq. US President Donald Trump today warned Iran that the United States will hit harder than ever before if Tehran retaliates. He warned that the United States will target 52 sites in Iran, some of which are very high level and important to Iran if Tehran attacks American personnel or assets. Meanwhile, Iran condemned the United States, President Donald Trump's threat to hit the Iranian sites. In a tweet, Iranian Information Minister Javad Azari said, "Nobody can defeat the great Iranian nation." On the other side, the United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo criticized the European response to the attack. In London, United Kingdom Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said in a tweet that they will send 2 warships to the Strait of Hormuz to ensure the safety of UK vessels and citizens amid rising tensions in the Middle East. In another development, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu held a telephone conference and discussed the latest developments in Syria, Libya, and Iraq. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi and his Iranian counterpart Javad Zarif made a telephonic contact today and exchanged views on security situation in the region. According to Foreign Office spokesperson Aisha Faruqi, Shah Mahmood Qureshi also spoke to Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu and UAE Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan and exchanged views on overall security situation in the region. Director General Inter-Services Public Relations Major General Asif Ghafoor says Pakistan would play the role of a peacemaker and not take sides in the ongoing conflict between the United States and Iran. Talking to private news channels, he said Pakistan has defeated and eliminated terrorism on its territory and would not allow its soil to be used against any other country. Major General Asif Ghafoor rubbished the claims made by Indian media that Pakistan's policy towards Iran has changed in the wake of resumption of US military training program for Pakistan Army as mere propaganda and fake news. He said Islamabad and Washington had been in talks for the last 4 or 5 months over the issue, and linking it as Pakistan aligning with the United States is Indian propaganda. He said the Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa in his telephonic conversation with United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that the region is making progress towards peace from very bad situation, and the Baghdad incident would be detrimental to the peace efforts. He said Pakistan has an important role with regard to regional security and Afghan peace process, and it does not want to see another conflict in this region. And in Iran, hundreds of thousands of people have attended the funeral procession of General Qasem Soleimani and his companions in Iranian city of Ahvaz. The mourners, waving flags and holding aloft portraits of Soleimani, were chanting anti-US slogans and anti-Israeli slogans as well. This is Radio Pakistan. Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and the world over observed right to self-determination day today, with renewed pledge to continue their freedom struggle till realization of inalienable right. It was on 5th of January in 1949 when the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution supporting the Kashmiris' right to decide their future by themselves through UN-sponsored plebiscite. Prime Minister Imran Khan has regretted Modi regime's full support for public lynching of Muslims and attacks on minorities in India. In a tweet, he said RSS goons conducting public lynchings of Muslims are not only supported by Modi government, but Indian police also leads such attacks. The Prime Minister said there is a difference between this incident and the routine attacks against minorities in India, which are sponsored by Modi government and are part of his RSS agenda. Imran Khan said the recent condemnable incident in Nankana is against his vision and will not be tolerated at all. He said the minorities find protection by police and judiciary in Pakistan. President Dr Arif Ali and Prime Minister Imran Khan have urged the United Nations to grant just right of self-determination to Kashmiris as promised. This message on Kashmiris' right to self-determination day, the president said the right to self-determination is a vital component of human dignity. He said commemoration of this day is aimed at reminding the global community that it cannot shy away from the responsibility towards the Kashmiri people. The Prime Minister in his message said our strong and steadfast moral, political and diplomatic support for the Kashmiri people will continue till the realization of their inalienable right to self-determination. He said on this day in 1949, the UN adopted a resolution that guarantees a free and fair plebiscite in Jammu and Kashmir to enable the Kashmiris realize their right to self-determination. The All-Parties Hurriyat Conference in a statement in Srinagar said that the resolutions passed by the UN Security Council on Jammu and Kashmir legitimize the struggle of the Kashmiri people for their right to self-determination. The APHC also condemned the continued lockdown of the territory by the Indian government. Meanwhile, the residents of the Kashmir Valley and Muslim areas of Jammu region continued to face hardships on the 154th consecutive day today, due to the military siege and lockdown imposed by the Indian authorities. In Azad Kashmir, public gatherings, rallies and seminars were held at divisional and district level across the state to mark the right to self-determination day. Addressing a function in Muzaffarabad, AJK Prime Minister Raja Farooq Haider Khan said Kashmiris all over the world are reminding the UN Security Council to fulfill its pledge made with them on this day in 1949. Later, a rally led by the AJK Prime Minister was also taken out. Participants of the rally holding placards and banners in their hands chanted pro-freedom and anti-Indian slogans. A protest rally organized by APHC AJK chapter was also held outside the Indian High Commission in Islamabad. Pakistan released 20 Indian fishermen as a goodwill gesture today. These fishermen were released from Landi jail in Karachi and sent to Lahore. They will be handed over to the Indian officials at Wagah border tomorrow. In Kenya, militant group Alshabab attacked a naval base used by Kenyan and US forces in Lamu. The group claimed to destroy 7 aircrafts and 3 military vehicles. The militants published pictures of masked militants standing next to the aircraft in flames, though the images could not be immediately verified. Kenyan military spokesman Colonel Paul Njuguna said at least 4 of the attacking militants were killed. In a tweet, the US Africa Command confirmed attack on and said it was monitoring the situation. And finally, the weather. Widespread rain with snowfall over the hills is expected in Balochistan, Lower Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, South Central Punjab, at scattered places in Upper Punjab, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan, while at isolated places in Upper Sindh during the next 12 hours. Heavy rainfall and snowfall are also expected in northern Balochistan during the period. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.